Hi guys, I'm Hannah. Welcome to Body Wisdom Yoga with Hannah. And today we're practicing Mama Restorative Yoga. So all of the poses here are going to be modified to be appropriate for prenatal. And I've got my little partner here. That's my daughter, Harmony. And so she's sitting inside of a pregnancy pillow. I call it a preggy pillow. And I recommend one of those if you would like to make your practice more comfortable. You can feel free to utilize those, especially if you're pregnant. They're wonderful. So we're going to start off by just bringing up our energy by practicing a little yoga flow, just a really quick sun salutation. I've got my Tibetan singing bowl, healing music playing, so that's what you're hearing. And we're also going to practice legs up the wall with or without a bolster. So that's what I've got going on. So I have 2 yoga mats, and the sun is a little bit bright, so I might have to go over there and close the blinds. So 1 second, and we'll get started. So beginning on your mat, we're going to try to be very mindful and just move at a slow, restorative pace. No need to push yourself too hard here. We're working on restoring and relaxing, de-stressing, all of that. So we're going to start at the top side of our mat. We're just going to inhale, lifting the hands up to the sky, a gentle back arch. Press into the heels, squeeze the belly button in. Roll open the shoulders, roll open the chest. Take a few breaths. And as you're ready, we're going to rain the fingers down and bring them to the ground. Let them swipe the ground and then bring the hands up over the knees, a nice long flat back. If you are pregnant, step the feet out nice and wide as your yoga mat or wider, however much you need. And then as you exhale, we'll hinge forward. You can allow the head to dangle here for a moment as you take some deep breaths and sway side to side. But you can always come out whenever you need to if this feels like too much right now. We're just letting blood flow reverse, letting gravity reverse the pressure, which tends to go down our backs. It's going to reverse the pull of gravity, letting some of our tension release in our neck and shoulders and upper back, swaying side to side, breathing deeply. Great job. Beginning to plant the hands. We're going to step back into a tabletop position. Feel free to take a full plank pose if you feel like it. Otherwise, we're going to come here into this cat-cow pose. Moving some prana through the spine in the frontal plane. So as you inhale, rolling the heart open and forward. As you exhale, rounding the back. Moving the hips back. Noticing any areas of tightness or soreness, any areas that you really want to focus on today. Just doing a nice, easy, slow sun salutation. And when you're ready, plant the hands, begin to lift the hips up. Trying to find a nice, strong back. Keep the knees nice and bent. You can bend and straighten each knee. Yes, ma'am. And then we're going to take some slow circles with the legs. So bringing the right heel up to the sky, and then beginning to make some circles with the knee. Just opening up through that hip, saying hello world. And then bring that right foot down. Inhale to lift the left foot up to the sky, making some slow circles with that knee. Great job. Whew. Adjusting my wardrobe here. You can come down onto hands and knees for a second. Then we're going to find our way into a low lunge, bringing the right knee forward. So another option is to actually swing that right foot out and around, planting the heel. Inhale to lift the hands up into a gentle low lunge. Trying to keep the hips nice and even here. So pulling the right hip back into the socket, and then bringing the left hip around. So we're nice and even here. Press into that front heel. Find your flowing breath, maybe bending through the elbows, opening through the heart space. Taking the gaze up, trying to find your balance here. Excellent job, bringing the hands down to the earth. You know what, let's actually straighten through that front knee just for a moment to get a nice hamstring stretch, stretching out the hips. You can even rock side to side. Another option is to have some blocks under the hands here to give you a little bit of a grip as you sway side to side. Balanced breath cycles. 8 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Or if that feels like a bit much, you can try counting to 6. All right, bending into that front knee, and then swipe that right knee back around into tabletop pose. We're gonna move into that low lunge on the left side. So swing that left knee around, finding your way to low lunge, pressing actively into all 4 corners of that front foot. Inhale to swing the hands up and over, finding balance here. Maybe you move in and out of the lunge. Trying to balance the hips. Maybe you bend through the elbows, opening the heart space a little more. You can even take some circles with the arms, finding what you need. And as you're ready, let's take one breath in our low lunge. Exhale, bring the hands down onto the floor or blocks, straightening that front knee, coming into this low runner's lunge, getting a nice hamstring stretch here. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your contribution. Bending through the front leg, sweep that, play the hands, sweep the left leg back in line. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Let's take 2 breaths here, grounding down into all hands and feet. If you're pregnant, feel free to walk the feet out nice and far away from one another. Beginning to look forward. Begin to walk forward towards the hands, back into your forward fold. Take a moment here. Allow the forehead to drop. And inhale, bending the knees, lifting up into mountain pose. Excellent. Okay. And let's do a little bit of upper body stretch to warm up. So, bringing the fingertips together, interlace the 3 fingers And then bring your clock top all the way up, and we're gonna arch up and over to the right side. Let's take 3 breaths here. If you have a little one who wants to get involved, you can use them as an extension of your clock arm. Just don't go as far into your stretch. Woo. Woo. And inhale back to center. We're going to move into that same arching pose on the left side. You see that fan? Exhaling over into the side arch. Whee. Great job. All right, so taking the feet out nice and wide, I recommend having a block or a cushion under the bottom. We're going to move into a Malasana squat. So turning the toes out, and then begin to bend into the knees, coming down into your squat. Again, you can cushion the hips here. The goal is to have a nice long spine, and you can rock side to side just to work on opening through the hips. All right, we're going to move into our restorative portion of our practice today. So today's practice is going to be a little bit faster than usual. We're only going to do 2 poses today. So that's because I've got to work on packing and watching the baby here. So grabbing my phone for the timer. This next pose for 10 minutes. So I'm going to get you guys set up for the first pose, and then I may have to play with baby here so that we can keep our restorative practice nice and quiet. So our first pose that we're going to do is legs up the wall. So if you have a bolster, you can grab that bolster and find your way to a wall. So what we're going to do is, let's see, it's a little bit trickier with a baby, so I'm going to have her watch me. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our way to the wall. And I'm moving my bolster out of the way so I can get my legs up the wall. If you are pregnant, you can try it by having the hips lifted. You may want to bump one hip so that you are more on your side rather than flat on your back. So you can bump the hip with a cushion or just use the bolster on kind of one side, and then you'll have to move to the other side halfway through. And so I'll tell you when it's been 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up, bringing one of our hips to the wall. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work on just swinging the legs up the wall. So your bottom might be about 12 inches away from the wall. The heels walk up the wall. You can have the knees bent or straight. And then if you want to add the bolster, just place the heels on the wall, lift the hips, and find a comfortable placement of the bolster. I put mine horizontally underneath my hips. And once you're here, you can adjust your arms and your legs however you want to. Again, if you're pregnant, make sure to just kind of bump one hip higher than the other. And then finding your way into relaxation. So adjusting yourself until you feel nice and relaxed, and then see if you can begin to release any muscular effort. Just allowing yourself to lay passively in this pose. Letting go of all effort. Allowing the earth to uplift you and support you. Taking deep breath cycles. If you find your mind wandering, you can count your breath cycle. Inhaling for 6. Holding. Exhale for 6. Letting go of any tension held in the jaw, in the forehead, letting go, releasing any held energy in those areas. Keeping the breath flowing. Maybe you count the breath with a simple count. 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale. 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale. Letting go of conscious control of your body, letting go of effort, just releasing your entire body into this pose. Just allowing your body to do the work of restoring itself, restoring your energy, restoring strength, restoring balance to your mind and body. Reconnecting to your inner self. Inhaling 1, exhaling 2, inhaling 1, exhaling 2. We're about halfway through this hold. So if you need to switch sides, you can do so now, just gently coming out of the posture for a moment and finding your way back into the posture on the other side. If you need to make any adjustments, do so now. And then try to return to stillness. If you need a blanket, you can put a blanket over you. Again, with legs up the wall pose, you can have your knees bent or straight. And as always, kiddos are always welcome to join. They bring a fun, playful energy to our practice. And I always welcome kids into the practice, even if they add an element of noisiness and playfulness. It helps us stay mentally flexible, work around these wonderful creatures that come into our lives. We can still practice yoga for ourselves. We can teach the young ones the importance of self-care and staying grounded, taking deep breaths, self-regulation, all that good stuff. Harmy's here to help me teach yoga and keep me on my toes. So even though I can't do the practice right now with you, she's helping to create the energy of our practice today. So accepting, being flexible, going with the flow. It's all good. So we've got about 55 seconds left. So taking a few conscious breaths again before you move out of the pose. Inhaling 1, exhaling 2. And as you're ready, beginning to press into your heels, lifting the hips, removing the bolster or support, and rolling on to your left side, gently coming out of the pose in your own time. Slowly making your way up. And our next and last pose for today is going to be a hip opener. So I have my bolster here. So coming into a straddle pose with the bolster long ways coming between the hips. Now, if you're feeling kind of tight today, feel free to lift your hips up on a pillow or a cushion or a block to give yourself a little more space. You can also have the knees lifted, and I recommend supporting them with a block or a pillow. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually hug the bolster, and you can place blocks underneath the bolster as high as you need them to go. So you can put the block on the highest level and place it under the bolster. And so what we're going to do is begin to wrap the arms around the bolster. So if you need to if you're feeling pretty tight and you need to bring the bolster up to support you, you can just hold the bolster like this. And then I would recommend placing pillows underneath the knees or placing blocks so that your knees can totally relax down into this restorative version of straddle pose. And if you're feeling like you need to pump the toes, pumping the legs so that you can release a little bit more, feel free to move the toes back and forth, maybe roll them in circles until you're ready to release that tension and come into stillness in this pose. You can have the eyes open, finding a drishti or focal point on the floor. Or if you want to look up for a little yoga for the eyes, you can actually look up towards the ceiling. Just wherever you are, finding some stillness in this pose, allowing the body to just release and relax into this restorative hold. Again, focusing on taking those conscious, deep breaths. Letting go of all energetic holds, letting go of all effort, just allowing your body to melt into this pose. If you have a baby, maybe use the baby as your support. find your mind wandering or you feel impatient with this pose, bring your mind back on to counting the breath. Remembering the two options of balanced breath cycles, you can count to 6 on the inhale, count to 6 on the exhale. Or you can count inhale 1, exhale 2. Inhale 1, exhale 2. And remembering your calm, centered, grounded energy helps little ones to be calm, centered, and grounded. Now we're about halfway through this hold, so if you need to take a moment to make any adjustments, feel free to do so now before our second half. Quiet and calm right now. Another option you can do is you can actually place the bolster behind you and allow your back to come down onto the bolster. I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. So bringing the short side of the bolster up behind your hips, and you can keep the legs in a straddle position. They can always be propped up by blocks. Okay, it's okay. And then you can allow your back to come down onto the bolster. Just finding what you need in this pose. Coming into stillness again, bring your mind to that balanced breath cycle. Inhaling 1, exhaling 2. Scanning the body from head to toe. See if you can make yourself 5% more comfortable in this pose. If you're laying back on your bolster, feel free to let the arms come out to a T position with the palms facing up. Releasing any tension in the forehead, neck, chin, jaw area. Release. Scanning down through the chest and arms. Inhale, exhale, release. Bringing your mindful focus down into the belly and hips. Inhale. Exhale, release. Bringing your mindful focus into the thighs, the calf muscles. Inhale. Exhale, release. Bringing your mindful energy into the feet. Our feet do so much work for us. They hold up our entire body when we're standing. Inhale. Exhale, release. Bringing grounded, calm, balanced energy all the way back up through the entire body. Inhale. Exhale, release, relax, restore, and renew. Coming back to that balanced breath cycle, counting your breath. We have about 60 seconds more. Taking one more breath in, we're going to mindfully transition out of this pose. So as you inhale, coming back to a neutral spine position, sitting up, bending the knees in, moving your support out of the way. Maybe you windshield wipe the knees from side to side. We're going to find our way into final rest position. So you have a few options. If you are pregnant, you want to take this pose on the left side. You can take it on the right side too, just not laying directly on your back. If you're not pregnant, you can find your way down into your final rest pose, which I'll demonstrate here. All right. Letting the feet become heavy, the knees straighten. Allow the feet to fall out to the sides in a comfortable position. The palms can face up next to the hips, or they can face down. You can also slide the bolster underneath the knees. Yes, ma'am. Tell us what you think. And when you find a comfortable position, you can have the eyes open or closed. Yes, you can. You can take a few breaths, maybe adjust yourself to make yourself 5 to 10% more comfortable. And then you can allow yourself to simply drift off into a meditative state. If you find your mind wandering, remember you can always come back to counting your breath cycles. You can stay in this pose. I recommend staying in this pose for at least 10 minutes. But stay in it as long as you like. And we're going to say namaste. Hope you enjoyed our practice for today. Bye-bye.